Hello there everyone, I am Cypher King Omar, and in today we will be discussing a new topic. Previously I discussed Hidan versus the Sound 4 not being a close fight, so in today, because I like Hidan, I want to do a different topic. We're going to be doing Hidan versus Zabuza. Zabuza was the main antagonist of the first arc of Naruto, an arc beloved by many people, including myself, and Hidan is, well, he's one of the most disliked members of the Akatsuki. But to be fair, that's really hard to do. Everyone loves the Akatsuki. The thing is, Hidan is just unfortunately the weakest member of the Akatsuki, so he has to go up against opponents that aren't too fancy or too special in terms of the power department, like Zabuza. How would the fight between Zabuza and Hidan go, and who would win? And today I'm going to find out by accurately scaling both characters to where I think they deserve to stay. So for Hidan scaling, I've gone over this before, but Hidan scales to the peak of the Jonin tier because he's able to keep up with Kakashi. Not only that, but Hidan's also able to keep up with Kakuzu on separate occasions, like the Yu-Gi-Oh example for the bombs, or against Shikamaru's traps. So all in all, Hidan is a peak of the Jonin tier who's able to keep up with a Part 2 Kakashi and a Kakuzu in terms of combat speed. So for Zabuza scaling, Zabuza scales below a Part 1 Kakashi, as stated by Haku, as in their first encounter, Haku outright tells Zabuza that had he not saved him, he would have died. We also know that in the first encounter, Kakashi wasn't trying to kill Zabuza immediately, but rather trying to save Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, and that old man from dying while Zabuza was trying to kill the old man. This allowed Zabuza to get Kakashi in a water prison, and we know that Kakashi is stronger because after Kakashi escaped the water prison, they have an equal clash in ninjutsu, and Kakashi is able to overtake Zabuza in terms of taijutsu and his Sharingan. This is important because this Part 1 Kakashi is just weaker than he was during the end of Part 1, and especially the beginning of Shippuden in the Akatsuki Suppression arc. What do I mean? Well, we know for a fact in the 1 Decade 100 Ninja Guide, Kakashi is said to train every single day and to continuously hone his skills. And we know in Part 1 he stopped training because it's outright stated that he has not gone on any serious mission, which is why he has gotten rusty. If you actually look at the rock climbing section, he even tells himself that his body has gotten weak, and we know that this has to be a certain time before Kakashi exited the Amu. All in all, this Kakashi in Part 2 that Hidan is able to parry off and is also able to keep up with Kakuzu should physically scale above this Part 1 Zabuza, who physically is even below a Part 1 Kakashi, as Part 1 Kakashi is able to react to every single one of his attacks until he uses a water prison to bind him. All in all, Hidan should come in with a good physical stat advantage over Zabuza. Zabuza's abilities also really wouldn't help him in this fight as well. The two main abilities I can think of is his Water Prison Jutsu and his Hidden Mist Jutsu. Starting off with his Water Prison Jutsu, I don't think it really would work on Hidan, considering the fact that Hidan's able to speak with his head being severed from his body, and is able to fully be intact when he's stabbing himself in the heart. I don't really think that the Water Prison Jutsu would do anything on him because all it is just drowning him. So Hidan should be able to be just fine with that. And his silent killing technique that Zabuza can use, I also don't think is effective, because we see that a Kakashi in their second encounter, this Part 1 Kakashi again, who is weaker than he was in Part 2, is still able to react to and dodge and accurately parry every single one of Zabuza's attacks during that second fight. All in all, I think Hidan should be able to deal with Zabuza's abilities and should be able to deal with his Water Prison Jutsu as well. Zabuza's Water Dragon Jutsu wouldn't be useful either because he has to weave like so many hand signs that Hidan should be able to just capitalize on that either. In terms of close quarters combat, Hidan should have this in the bag. He's able to keep up with Asuma in close quarters combat, who's stated to have unparalleled close quarters combat, putting his close quarters combat above Kakashi's close quarter combat. This Part 2 Kakashi, who is stronger than he was in Part 1, and Hidan's able to backflip and graze Asuma's cheek, which, as we know, is all Hidan needs to be able to get his win condition off. All in all, I think Hidan wins this fight 9 out of 10 times with low difficulty, probably mid difficulty if you want to be very generous, with Zabuza maybe getting a kill off due to Hidan's enjoyment of just wasting time and screwing around, which could give Zabuza an opening. Okay, that's going to be it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys did enjoy this video, please leave a like and subscribe for my YouTube channel because it helps me out a lot. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.